Hi everyone and welcome back. Today for our short question and answer video we have a rather interesting question. Sterling, geometric shapes, are they evil?
Okay, by geometric shapes, I guess you're asking the question that a lot of people ask, which is a pentagram evil? No. If pentagram is evil, all mathematics would be evil, all geometry would be evil. No, that's ridiculous. No, it's what they're utilized for. Okay. Again, it's a 5-pointed star. Okay. Sheriff's badges are pentagrams. Okay. Where our military leaders sit in this country is called the Pentagon. What do you think that's the middle of? It's a giant pentagram.
Right.
Okay. Does it have spiritual implications? Possibly, from the people who designed it. Who knows? Okay. There may be information out there on it. I don't know. I would think probably. It may have had some Masonic input or something of that nature. Who knows? But back to the question. No, it's not. They are geometric figures. How they're used, that's what determines whether it's been used for good or whether it was been used for evil. Is it used in a graceful way or is it used in an evil way? Okay. Now,
so it comes back to intention.
Yeah. Anton LaVey, yes. The leader of the Satanic Church, he uses an inverted pentagram. Okay. And they put the face of Baphomet, okay, who Christians call the goat-headed devil, okay, in the middle of. Okay. But that's just crazy. Because that would be like saying, well, because they do that, it's evil. All right. But isn't a symbol of the Antichrist the inverted cross? So does that mean that any time you wear a non-inverted cross, it's still an evil symbol? That's ridiculous. That would be every Christian on the planet is wearing a symbol of evil on them when they go around. And every church has one in them. That makes no sense. And not to mention, you brought up a fact about this, and I can let you go into because you know more about it when it comes to Peter.
Oh, with Peter, according to tradition, refusing to be crucified the same way as his Lord Jesus Christ, was crucified in Rome, upside down.
Right. And was that a symbol of the Antichrist? No. It was a saint. I mean, it gets ridiculous because this all stems from fear of not knowing anything. If you really want to know about geometric figures, the trines, the squares, the tetrads, astrology uses all of these things within the aspects, how planets relate to each other, okay, how different points in the chart relate to each other, 90-degree angles, 120-degree angles, okay, and they all essentially at some point form platonic solids, which is how you connect planets together in the first place through these angles. Okay, so when you're talking about geometric figures, you're just talking about ways of connecting things together or ways of building things is essentially what you have. You wouldn't be able to do anything without knowing what a right angle is. Okay, and of course 4 right angles is a square, so.
Correct, okay, yes. Yep.
Okay, now when you're talking about a pentagram, you're talking about specifics, especially when you go spiritual. Okay, that relate to the 4 energies, the 4 elements, so to speak. Okay, and again, we're not talking about fire is a flame, water is a liquid, air is a gas, and earth is dirt. You're talking about them as particular types of energy. Okay, so fire is expression. Okay, air is interaction, water is sensitivity, earth is substance. Okay, and pulling these energy in the form of a square. Okay, you call them in from directions. Okay, fire is from the south, air is from the east, water from the west, earth is from the north, and you call these in. Okay, which is a lot of what the systems used. Okay, with a circle connecting all of the points on the outside because all points have to be touching unity. Okay.
Okay.
Now, when you look at a trine, well, where does a trine come from? It's still all 4 elements. Okay. However, we can go back to Plato on this one. Plato says, top point, divine masculine, intelligence, air. Okay.
Okay.
Straight across, divine feminine, okay, water, soul, okay. Those 2 points come down connecting into one. Well, that one, okay, is beauty, but it's beauty of spirit and physical beauty. connected into one point. So the bottom
Okay,
point is both
okay.
fire and earth, with air and water at the top. So you still have all four elements. They've just been now converted into a triangle instead of a square or a tetrad or whatever you want to call it. So, question?
Interesting. Okay.
Okay, I thought you had.
Well,
you might have a question.
that's because fire and earth, they're joined into one, and they're the polar opposites from what I.
They are,
Oh,
but they're
as
connected
discussed
through the
before.
two mediums. Yes, but
Yes.
okay, and they're
Yeah.
connected through beauty because beauty covers both aspects.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
but it's also physical and spirit together.
Right.
Okay,
Yep.
so life in form, which is what we are.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's what it is. It's the infinite and finite two
In
points
one,
in
yes.
one.
Okay.
Okay, divided into two that connect to each other. Okay.
Okay.
It's interesting to postulate, but going back to it, what you end up doing with the square is the two bottom points become the two points of, like, let's say your air and your water. Okay, they shoot up through the top of the square
Mhm.
because all points have to touch the circle, and when they do that, they break through the top line of the square. They come up. Okay, and when you erase all the lines, and you just have the points and redraw the lines, it's a pentagram. So it's taking the Trinity
Okay.
and the tetrad and combining them into one figure. And again, when you're doing that, however, you're not working the elements in the trine when you're doing that, because the trine is actually inverted when you do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Mm-hmm.
sorry, what we were talking. So when
Okay.
you do that, and you have this figure, okay, you have air will always be the upper. Well, if you're looking at it, it's going to be the upper left. Okay, water is going to be the upper right. Fire is going to be the bottom right.
Mm-hmm.
Earth is going to be the bottom left. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. And what do they stand for? And you draw these lines that connect them out. Okay. The top point stands for the quintessence, or what we call aether. Okay. And that is, again, we talked about that before with the spirit of the universe. It is that energy that connects all things together.
Right.
Okay?
It's
So it holds the pentagram together, essentially, is what
Right,
that's doing.
yeah.
Okay. The God essence of it. Okay. Or the celestial essence of it. Okay. Which would be animation. Okay.
Mhm.
To animate. Okay. Fire would be to penetrate. Water would be concentrate. Earth would be saturate. Water would be saturate and earth would be consolidate. Okay. So when you connect those lines, okay, if you start from earth, which a lot of people, that's how they draw their pentagrams, okay. You go up, animate, penetrate, concentrate, saturate, consolidate. You consolidate all that energy together. That's why those types of pentagrams are called banishing. They banish energy out to contain what's left inside of itself.
Okay. Okay.
Now, the other type that we do is for what they call evocation or invocation, and essentially it's just empowerment. Okay, and you start at the top point, and you go down to penetrate, up to concentrate, over to saturate, down to consolidate, and up to animate. So animate is the last thing that you do, and you're pulling in usually celestial energy when you do that. Okay, and that's what those pentagrams are all about. Now, what you connect those to is going to decide whether it's inherently graceful energy or evil energy. And that's really all there is to it. The reason that Anton LaVey and the Satanics choose the inverted pentagram, okay, is because of the symbolism of the point going down to the bottom instead of up to the top, because they deal with the fallen.
Okay.
The fallen are on the bottom,
Yes. Yeah.
where the graceful would be on the top. Okay.
Okay.
There are other
Okay.
religions
Yeah.
out there, other pantheons that aren't Judeo-Christian at all, okay, that utilize them in the same ways, but they will put, they work with, God type energies of different pantheons, the Greek gods, the Egyptian gods, whatever pantheon they're working with, okay, and the symbols work the same way. It's the energy that's different that you're pulling through them. And that's essentially all there is to it. There's not a whole lot more that you can say about the geometric symbols, except that's just all they are. They're just geometric symbols, and they are not inherently good or evil. It's what's utilized I mean,
Right. It's
if you look at the Norse runes, the rune for Awaz was used by the Nazis as the SS symbol on the uniforms because it meant power. Okay? And they use it in a horribly negative, evil way. It doesn't mean that that's what it's used for. It just means that that's what they incorporated it for that particular use. You know, it's the same thing when you look at well, there's a lot of figures that you can look at through that, but those are things that you need to understand why they used them. And that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to pull that power in to help fulfill their cause, okay? To essentially take over the entire world, okay? Which, yeah, that was inherently evil.
right.
Yes. Exactly, okay? And unfortunately, that's what people are going to associate certain symbols with forever because of those things. Okay?
Right,
Where
it's
in
the
other
evil that
religions,
leaves the
things
mark,
aren't,
yeah.
you know, they mean completely different things.
Mhm.
But unfortunately, because of history and because of people like Hitler, they were utilized in that way. And it's horrible,
Right.
okay, when they do things like that. And the pentagram was essentially, it was taken the same way. When the Satanic Church decided, hey, we're going to use this for this. Okay?
Right.
And
Right.
there are groups that do that all over the place. They hijack certain things so that it only means what they decided it means now, as opposed to it could mean anything for anybody. And it's unfortunate that that happens, but that happens everywhere.
Right. Unfortunately.
Yes. You know, and that doesn't not, however, mean that you can wear an SS thing on your uniform and not be associated with, you know, white supremacy. I mean,
Right.
you're going to for forever because of that.
Right. It's the historical
But it doesn't
connotation.
mean that all the runes are inherently evil.
Right.
You know, so you know you really have to take a look at the history of things and research them to determine what those symbols are, where they came from, and what they mean, and if they were hijacked,
Right.
as that one was,
Mm.
in a horrible way. You know, well, my mother was a Holocaust survivor, so that symbol for me is horrible.
Mm.
I can't stand seeing that and that connotation that it was done for. But at the same time, I like runes. You know, but I can also I can make the difference.
Right. You've learned enough to be able to differentiate
Yeah.
the symbol from
Right.
what it was used for.
Yes, exactly. You know, so yeah, it's strange how that happens, and how when something was used for centuries to mean one thing, some horrible group can come in and just take it, use it for a few years, and boom,
And
completely
yeah.
destroy it
Right.
for anybody else's use. It's horrible, but it happens, and it happens quite often.
It's very unfortunate that it happens, but it is very much tied to our free will and our intention. It seems.
Yes, and they're not just symbols. There are other things. Think about the owl.
Mm-hmm.
Some religions, the owl is regarded as horrible, bad omen, and in others, it's revered
Right.
as wisdom. So, it's the same thing. It's how it's utilized for you, what you're using the energy for. I think that's about all I can
right.
say about that one.
All right. Well, thank you, Sterling, and thanks for tuning in. Do feel free to submit any questions or inquiries that you guys have, and we'll do our best to find answers for them. And do make sure to like and subscribe. Thank you.